The second nominee for Ako Bicol Party List. It's a regional political party. Una ho kaming lumahok sa party list system in 2010. And then when we first joined the party list election, we were so fortunate that we were given 3 seats in 2010 election, garnering 1.5 million votes. In 2013, we won another 2 seats. In 2016, again, we were number 1 in the party list election. We had 3 seats. 2019 and 2022 elections, na-maintain namin yung 2 representations in Congress. So right now, we have 2 representatives in Congress, in the person of Congressman Saldico, the chair of the Committee on Appropriation, and Congressman Jill Bungalon, the Assistant Majority Leader and Vice Chair of the Committee on Appropriation. So that's it. Our constituency is the 6 provinces of the Bicol region, being a regional political party. So mainly Bicolanos.
Sir, you still have 50 seconds? You still have 50 seconds.
They can now ask questions.
Okay na. Iho, introduce mo sarili mo at yung media organization mo.
Good morning, Congressman. Michael Rogas po from Radyo Pilipinas. Sir, I don't know kung nasagot lang po ninyo yung paratang po ni Vice President Sara Duterte na kasama raw po sa mga may hawak ng budget ay ang party list ng Ako Bicol at si House Speaker. Ano pong komento ninyo tungkol dito?
Siguro hindi niya alam yung sistema ng paggugobyerno. The budget emanates from the House of Representatives. It's the General Appropriation Act. But when you talk about approval of the budget, it's being approved by the total numbers of the House members, meaning buong kapulungan ng Kongreso, hindi lang House of Representatives, pati Senado. And that's why I think she has to attend budget hearings for her to know how the budget process goes. So baka hindi lang ho alam niya kung paano ipasa ang budget. And that's why it is incumbent upon her to attend all the budget hearings.
Being a party list po ng Ako Bicol, at nabanggit po ninyo kung kailan kayo katagal na sa Kongreso, pwede niyo ba kaming bigyan din ng konting ideya lamang or impormasyon kung saan po naman po dinadala ng Ako Bicol yung inyo pong pondo na nakukuha sa Kongreso sa mga panahon po kayo ay lalo po nung nakakaroon 3 upuan po ang inyo nakukuha sa Kongreso?
Wala ho kami nakukuha ang pondo, but we initiate funding for different agencies of the government, and they are the one who implements the same. So, every time there's a budget hearing, we actively participate in all the budget deliberations to see to it that the budget for the Bicol regions is sufficient, to continue the programs in advocacy of which we advocate. Like, for example, sa Department of Education, we advocate building new classrooms and repair of new classrooms para maiwasan yung congestion. So, ang nag-iimplementa ho niyan ay ang Departamento ng Edukasyon. And the same way that in the Department of Public Works and Highways, like for example, roads, flood controls, and even yung iba pang mga major infrastructure projects, ina-advocate ho namin, ina-initiate ho namin yung funding. So sila ho yung nag-i-implement ng lahat. Same with the Department of Agriculture, the farm-to-market roads and irrigations. What we do is we actively participate in all the deliberations upang mabigyan ng pondo yung mga departamento na nangangailangan. At yung aming inilalaban doon, agrikultura, edukasyon, social services, ay supisyente yung pondo para mapunta sa mga nangangailangan.
Next question, please. John. Please. ABS-CBN.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Earlier this year, isa kayo sa mga proponents ng People's Initiative. And pagbalik nyo, if ever makabalik po kayo sa Kongreso, bubuhayin niyo po ba ito? Kasi medyo tumamlay siya eh.
Well, tama. Not only the proponent of the People's Initiative, but as you remember, in the 18th Congress, I was the chair of the Committee on Constitutional Amendments, wherein we were able to pass the resolution of both houses number 2 patungkol doon sa economic provisions of our Constitution. So I think that was the farthest that we have gone na kung saan supermajority ng 18 Congress ay binutohan yung pag-aamenda ng restrictive economic provisions ng ating saligang batas. And if you will ask me if I will continue to fight amending the said restrictive economic provision na kung saan ito yung naghahadlang sa pagpasok ng dayuhang nangangapital o those foreign direct investment because of those restrictions imposed by the Constitution, the 36-year-old Constitution, ilalaban ko pa rin. Hindi ko ito titigilan. I think this is one of the hadlang sa pagunlad ng ating ekonomiya.
Dwight Rappler.
Good morning po, Kong. Do you think you still have time, though, to amend the 1987 Constitution if you get back to Congress? Because we're already, 2025 to 2028, people will be looking into the next presidential election. How feasible is a charter change push in the next Congress?
Well, the status right now is the resolution of both houses in the House of Representatives was already transmitted to the Senate. If the Senate moves and moves fast, then they still have time. Because as you know, under the Constitution, if both houses agreed to adopt the said resolution, constitute the proposed amendment to the Constitution, then the COMELEC can schedule a plebiscite not earlier than 60 days from the time it was approved by both houses or not later than 90 days. Pwede nga isama dito sa national and local election come May of 2025. But it's really up to the Senate.
So, sir, umaasa kayo sa Ako Bicol na magkakaroon ng plebisito pa rin isasabay sa 2025 elections?
Kung ako tatanungin, umahasa ako. Pero until now, walang movement ang Senado. So ako talagang matagal na nating hangarin ito kasama yung mga ekonomista and akademya na talagang ito ay kailangan para makapag-move on tayo at i-open up natin ang ating ekonomiya sa dayuhang nangangapital. So we need to open up the economy as wide as possible and remove those restrictions. And those restrictions, it is only proper if we put it on legislation. You don't put it in the Constitution, otherwise, talagang pag may pagbabago, pag may pangangailangan ang presenting panahon, mahihirapan tayo palagi.
Kung last question on my end, bakit po kayo naisipang bumalik ulit sa Kongreso? I understand in 2022 you ran for mayor of Legazpi City. So why go back to Congress instead of give Legazpi City another chance? And also, ano po pala nangyari kay Congressman Jill Bongalon, who is the current second nominee of Ako Bicol?
Bumalik ako sa Kongreso dahil mas makakatulong ako doon. I think I still have this opportunity and the chance to contribute formulating legislations that affects not only national but the local. And I want also to continue debate on national issues. Regarding Congressman Jill Bongalon, he's running as district representative on the 1st District of Albay.
One last question.
Sino daw po yung
Okay,
third
go ahead.
nominee? Tama ba? First
Go ahead.
nominee, first and the third nominee po.
Ang first nominee is the chair of the Committee on Appropriation, Congressman Saldico.
Third nominee, sir? Sino pong third nominee?
Third nominee is Attorney John Chan.
Last 20 seconds. 20 seconds na lang po. Sige, go ahead. Sige. Very quick lang. Very
Ay,
quick.
sir,
20
morning.
seconds.
Sir, mabilis lang. So, maliban po dun sa PI, yung Ako Bicol ba nakatingin din dun sa filing of a possible impeachment complaint against the Vice President?
Wala pa hong ganun eh. Wala pang pinag-uusapan sa Kongreso. So, Ako Bicol right now is really focused on passing the budget on time, which we already did in the House of Representatives through the able leadership of the Speaker and the Chair of the Committee on Appropriation. And we expect that before the December break in Congress, ay ito maipapasa at mapipirmahan na ng ating Presidente. That's the single and most important bill that has to be approved by Congress.
Okay, maraming salamat po. 8 minutes is
Thank you.
Time na